Hey Ross World, my money makes money. Unfortunately, one day we're all going to die. You and I both. We're going to pass away. We're going to go before we actually know when it's time for us to go. It happens, and sometimes at very difficult times, and it happens unknowingly. So, are you ready to die? I don't mean in the sense of taking your own life or that you want to leave this earth, but are you ready to die? Are you ready to die in the sense of having all your affairs in order? Is your life insurance set up to take care of your burial needs, or if you want to get cremated and where you want to get buried and cremated at? Is your life insurance payees listed, those monies that will be going to different people when you pass away? Do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Or do you have all three? These are questions that need to be answered and need to be executed immediately. There is no time because you never know when you're going to go. Everything could be going your way. You're creating wealth. You're using all these different avenues to create wealth. You're feeling good. Your future is secured, but you just don't know when you're going to go. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this because we need to get into this so you get the information so you start making excuses. I'm not going to speak in hyperboles. I'm not going to speak in oxymoronic terms. I'm not going to contradict myself. I'm going to try to give it to you what? Plain and simple. Okay, so let's talk about wills. And I'm going to use my notes because I don't have a teleprompter. And I want to make sure you get all the information so you make the best decisions. So the first type of will is a self-proven testamentary will. It is a will, it's the most traditional type of will which most people are familiar with. It is a formal prepared document that is signed in the presence of witnesses, okay? That's the most one that's well known to most people. Now, another will is the holographic will, okay? Holographic wills are written without the presence of witnesses and they rarely hold up in court, so do not use that will. Then you have an oral will, okay, a verbal will. The oral wills are spoken testaments given before witnesses. They are not widely recognized from a legal perspective. Now, nowadays, they're actually doing like video wills where someone gets inside of a camera and they actually tell people their wishes. A living will. A living will has nothing to do with the distribution of assets, but rather sets forth your wishes for medical care in terms of life support should you be incapacitating. Okay? So understand the different types of wills and how you're going to go about that if you chose to do a will. Now, creating a will gives you sole discretion over the distribution of your assets. It lets you decide how your belongings, such as cars, family heirlooms, should be distributed, okay, given out. When you are ready to prepare for a will, a compiled list of your assets and debts. Be sure to include the contents of safe deposit boxes, items of sentimental value, family heirlooms, and other assets that you wish to transfer to a particular person or entity. Now, this is going to help kill a lot of frustration and a lot of confusion in the demise of your death. Okay, so you don't want family members, siblings, kids fighting over what you have left because you did not do a will or a trust. This is very, very important. You can also use a will if you have minor children. It will give instructions on how you want those children to be taken care of. Even if you have older adults in your care because of an illness or a sickness or some sort of limitation injury, okay? Also in a will, you can give money assets to a charity of your choice. What's important to note, if you do not have a will or trust and you die, the old saying was that, you know, the government will soak up, they will take your assets and everything that you have, money in the bank. That is untrue. When you do not have a will or a trust, the state actually gives out your assets equally given to that state's particular formula, okay? And you don't want that to happen because maybe your spouse, they're going to split it in half. Maybe your spouse will get half and your kids will get half, but maybe you want your spouse to only get a quarter of your assets, whether it be, I just want her to get the house, but I need the kids to have the money so they can go to college or start a business or be well off. You know, she's good. or vice versa. It really doesn't matter, but you want to put these things into perspective so there's no confusion in the time of your death. Another thing, once you make this will, you probably want to know, okay, so in making this will, you want to have witnesses as you're writing this will so they can sign to it. And I will actually get it notarized to be a legal document, because a lot of times wills are contested in court, which another name for that is going through probate, where people are fighting over what you have left them, and they may come up with a really good argument why they should get something, and they're leaving it up to the court. So when you're writing this, make sure that you get someone, and most people get a lawyer or an attorney, but make sure they understand your state laws and they can write pretty well so it's clear and concise. That way there's no confusion, okay? Also, if you don't want to go through the attorney route, believe it or not, there are software programs that will help you write your will, okay? So this is not really hard. It's just something that needs to be done because you just don't know. Now, in the sense that you wanted to change your will, you can. The same way you made it is the same way you change it. Now, once your will is done and all of your assets, whether it be in a safety deposit box, a car, a family heirloom, whatever's in your will, you want all that in your will to be distributed throughout your family, because maybe a family heirloom, if you give it to Uncle Jimmy, he's going to sell it. But if you give it to Aunt Susan, she's going to keep it, okay? And then she's going to give it to somebody who's going to keep it. That is very, very important, okay? That's just an example. So if you want to change it the same way you did it, whether you did it with software or whether you did it yourself and sat down, or whether you did it with an attorney, change it the same way, or you can use another avenue. But the most important thing, once it's all said and done, you have someone to review it and it's good to go. Now you want to give it to someone or an organization to hold it for you in the time of your death. Okay, you just don't want to give it to some irresponsible person or just laying around the house. You want it somewhere centralized where everyone knows, hey, these are his or her instructions in the time of their death. It's very, very important. That way, everything is taken care of. You know, your burial situation is taken care of. Your kids, your family, your friends, your charities, whatever the case may be, everything is taken care of because you did the right thing. You put all your affairs in order before the time that you left. Okay, so that's enough for wills. Let's move on to a trust. And I'm only going to talk about one particular trust. And every time someone talks about trust, they think ultra filthy rich or wealthy or billionaires. But I'm going to give you this particular trust, and then I'm going to tell you where you can reference it, because I believe that a trust is better than a will. And I'm going to tell you why. Living Irrevocable Trust Fund. This type of trust can be set up to begin dispersing funds where certain conditions are met. You're still alive. There is no stipulations that you cannot be alive when that happens. You can place cash, stock, real estate, or other valuable assets in your trust. You meet with an attorney and decide on the beneficiaries and set stipulations. Maybe you say that the beneficiaries receive a monthly payment, can only use the funds for educations, expenses due to an injury or disability, or the purchase of a first home. It's your money, so you get to decide. So there's many avenues with the trust when you put your assets, your cash, your stocks, however you do it inside of your trust. If it's just for someone's school, they can only use it for school. If it's just to start a business, then it's just to start a business. If it's just free cash, they can do whatever, then you can actually put that in writing inside of your trust. Because the trust is irrevocable, you don't have the option of later dissolving it. Once you place assets in that trust, they are no longer yours. They are under the care of a trustee. A trustee is a bank, an attorney, or other entity set up for that purpose. Since the assets are no longer yours, you don't have to pay income tax on it or any money made from those assets. Also, with proper planning, the assets can be exempt from estate and gift tax. Now, the biggest drawback to a trust fund is attorney fees, okay? It can be really, really expensive to get an attorney to set up these trusts. Think of a trust as a human in the eyes of a tax law. The new person has to pay taxes, and the mechanics of the trust have to be written with an extraordinary amount of detail in order to make it as tax efficient as possible. It has to be crafted by somebody who has a lot of specialized legal and financial knowledge. Trust attorneys are expensive. A traditional irrevocable trust will likely cost a minimum of a few $1,000s and could cost much more. But I'm going to show you a trust that you actually can afford that I mentioned in an early video. It's called a KISS trust. That's K-I-S-S, KISS trust. Now, if you bear with me, I'm almost done, and I'm going to quickly read some notes I have here about the KISS trust. And if you want to research this for yourself, go to www.kisstrust.com. So a KISS trust lets you specify the beneficiaries and when and for what purposes the funds can be used. Your custom KISS trust document is prepared based on your wishes and is held as a legal document until a disbursement condition is met. For example, it could be when a grandchild's purchasing his or her first home. As you make payments into the trust, those funds are no longer yours. Since the KISS trust is irrevocable, this means that they are safe from bankruptcy, divorce, and most tax liabilities. Much like a retirement plan, you can decide how the funds will be invested. There are a lot of hosts of mutual funds and annuities to choose from, with annuities providing the added advantage of the trust going tax-free until a payment is made to a beneficiary. Although the trust is irrevocable, the money is not the property of the person receiving it. Listen to that. Now, the money is no longer yours, and the money is not theirs, okay? To the people that's receiving it, this is important. Because of this, a child applying for financial aid will not have to claim these funds as asset. As a result, there will be no impact on eligibility for needs based on financial aid. The truster can also establish trust for future generations of children, making the trust a lasting legacy for an indefinite number of generations. Finally, if a family would like to set up a trust to which more than one person can add to, a KISS trust allows an indefinite number of people to become trustees or trustors, the people who can add to the trust. So this is very, very important, guys, and you can research this for yourself. And if you know anything about a trust, like I said, once you research kisstrust.com, you will understand that a trust also makes money because the trust money is actually a mutual fund, okay? So hopefully you got some information out of that, and don't waste any more time not having a trust or will, okay? Now, the big difference I want you to pull from this is a will goes through probate, okay? Can be contested in court, but a trust cannot, okay? There's special language there between the two. And do not forget to have life insurance. You can have all three if you want. You can do diversification even in the time of your death. Unfortunately, it's going to happen to all of us, but be prepared. That way there's no confusion in your family. This is Ross World. My money makes money. I'm out.